In business news, Nigeria has exceeded the 1 million barrels per day of oil production benchmark in the month of October. This is according to data obtained from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency. Now, the commission, I beg your pardon. Now, Africa's most populous nation drilled 1.0414 million barrels per day for the month under review, exceeding production for August, which was 972,394 barrels per day, and September pegged at 937,766 barrels per day. The country produced 31.449 million barrels in crude oil in October, as opposed to 28.132 million in September and 30.144 million barrels in August. The month also saw the production of 6.692 million barrels being put in place to increase Nigeria's exports of non-oil products. An assurance was given by the Ports Regulatory Agency's managing director on the sidelines of Export Terminal's inauguration in Lagos. Management of the Port Authority said it will create a seamless system with export terminal operators to maximize exports from the terminals.
For us to be able to have collection centers for all non-oil exports, these locations are supposed to, and they are furnished with weighbridge, the right cargo handling equipment. You also have presence of Nigerian Custom Export Desk and every other government agency that is supposed to be involved in processing of exports. Now, the idea here is to bring the exports into these locations where they will be sorted, they will be tested, and they will be certified. And then they will be sealed into a container and taken straight to the port.
The essence of this terminal is also to improve the export trade and to reduce the imbalance in the import-export gap. At the moment, we can do over 50,000 boxes. As we move along, it's a journey. We continue to improve on the capabilities.
Let's talk electricity now, where the Eco Distribution Company says the act of bypassing meters is responsible for estimated billings, otherwise known as crazy billings, in most communities in the country. Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of EKEDC, Mrs. Tinuade Sanda, made the position at a customer engagement forum put together by the DISCO in Lagos. She was represented by the Chief Financial Officer of the DISCO, Mr. Joseph Esenwa, who explained that the essence of the forum was to interface with customers and address issues confronting communities under their network. Everyone here agrees that estimated billing was a product of energy theft within a community, which includes the bypassing of meters. Customers present at the forum were from Orile District, Surulere, Aguda, Koka, Orile, Kate, Animashaun, and Doing zones.
The purpose of the forum is primarily to interface with our customers, hear them out on the challenges they are having, hear them out in the strong points they have, and also for them to hear us out in the challenges we're having, and also pass on to them our own strong points. You see, it's not just to come and complain about problems. If you let us know the areas we're doing well, what it only means is that we'll replicate it in other areas. That's why we want to hear both the positive and the negative. We are serving them. And for us to serve them effectively, we need them to also do their own bit. Because we are in a symbiotic relationship, and we believe in a win-win situation, whereby, I do my own bit for you, you do your own bit. There are expectations on both sides. If we all live up to our expectations, definitely there will be a better platform for relationship and a mutually beneficial relationship in the long run.
The way the question were answered actually put a resolute into so many of the controversies surrounding supply of electricity to our community. A lot of them find they were enlightened about the approaches, and they got what they want. I think it's best for us to go back to our community and then be able to enlighten our people. But their response, their approach is quite impressive.
Away from electricity now, the stock market has remained bearish following losses by mid-weight firms. Effiong Gekop takes it from here.
Stock trading went downward at the close of transactions at the stock exchange. The market was influenced by losses recorded by WAPCO Cement and Access Corporation. Long lists of other trade losers emerged, which included Royal Exchange, UPD Crude, FCN Cocoa, and ABC Transports. The closing index of the market showed 0.04%, which also puts the market in a flat territory. Len Africa made the biggest gain, calculated at 10%. Other traders with gains included Prestige Assurance, Japan Gold, NGX Group, and First Bank Holdings. The volume of shares traded was 103 million. Ifyong Ekop TVC News, Lagos.
Asian shares market were mixed today, and the oil was weaker as investors sought to digest economic implications of China's COVID policy adjustments and a rescue package for the country's struggling property sector. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan was up 0.1%, following mild losses for U.S. overnight Australian shares lost 0.28%. Japan's Nikkei stock index fell 0.16%. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng index was flat, while China's CSI 300 index was down 0.3%. Chinese property stocks were giving up the sum of the steep gains made a day earlier in the rescue package. Inflation in the United States remains at the top of the mind of many investors who are waiting for producers' price index data later in the day. Japan's economy unexpectedly shrank for the first time in Q3 of the year, being fueled up by global recession risk, a weak yen, and higher import costs. Now, the world's third biggest economy has struggled to move on despite the recent lifting of COVID-19 curbs and has faced intensifying pressures from global inflation and the Ukrainian war. Global domestic product, or gross domestic product, has declined with 0.3% quarterly versus a forecast of 0.3% growth, despite effects of global slowdown and soaring inflation. Japan has been dealing with a challenge of the yen slide to 32-year lows against the dollar, which has magnified cost of living from prices of everything from fuel to food items. Well, crude oil prices held steadily today as rising COVID-19 cases in China sparked fears of lower fuel consumption from the world's top crude importer, and the cut in OPEC's 2022 global demand forecast offset worries about tight supplies. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude remains in the red zone to sell at $84.98 per barrel with a downward price margin of 1.04%. Brent crude futures sells for $92.46 per barrel, experiencing a downward review of 0.73%. Bonny Light also fell, selling at $94.69 per barrel with a price decline of 1.52%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $94.85 with an upward price review of 3.87%. That's our package.